Welcome to Life in Abundance with Pastor Joseph from Forward in Faith Ministries. Pastor Joseph shares the secrets to enjoying the life that Jesus made available for you and I. Life in Abundance. Enjoy and be inspired.
This week's message is entitled, Take Out the Weeds. Take out the weeds. We are taking our reading from the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 15 and 16. That's Hebrews chapter 12, verse 15 and 16. We are taking it from the Message Bible. It reads, make sure no one gets left out of God's generosity. Keep a sharp eye out for weeds of bitter discontent. A thistle or two gone to the seed can ruin a whole garden in no time. Watch out for the Esau syndrome, trading away God's lifelong gift in order to satisfy a short-term appetite. Let's take it up again. Make sure that no one gets left out of God's generosity. Keep a sharp eye out for weeds of bitter discontent. A thistle or two gone to seed can ruin a whole garden in no time. Watch out for the Esau syndrome, trading away God's lifelong gift in order to satisfy a short-term appetite. We are talking about taking out the weeds. Taking out the weeds. Now, it is natural in our gardens or in our farms for weeds to sprout out. It's very natural, but it is the duty of a diligent gardener and farmer to weed them out, to make sure that he watches out for the weeds and removes them whenever they try to make their way. Weeds are dangerous in a garden or in a farm because, number one, they would like to share the same nutrients that are meant for a productive crop. Weeds want to share on that. They begin to compete for those nutrients, for the food that is intended for the crop. And secondly, weeds are dangerous because some of them are actually poisonous. They don't just compete for the food, but they actually chock and deter the growth of the productive crop. You see, number one, we said they compete for food, which means to say the food, the nourishment that was meant for a productive crop is now being divided between the productive crop and unproductive crop, which is the weed. And secondly, some of these weeds are poisonous. They actually chock and deter the growth and the productivity of the productive crop. This is the reason why it's very important to watch out for those weeds. It is the same with our lives as human beings. Weeds can easily come in our lives. It's easy for weeds to come back. Weeds can come by several ways. Number one, when we entertain negative or bad thoughts for a long time, weeds can begin to sprout within our lives. Secondly, when we feed ourselves with the wrong material, reading wrong books, watching wrong movies, listening to wrong music, weeds can easily sprout and grow unattended within our lives. And thirdly, companions, our friends, our relatives, those close to us can sow seeds of weeds within our lives. Have you ever been in a situation whereby you begin to resent someone, not because they've done anything wrong to you, but because your friend or someone close to you has said something bad or negative about that person? Many people have resented their workplaces, not because they were bad workplaces, but because other employees who had negative ideas or negative perceptions about those workplaces sowed the weeds in others. And people begin to treat other people negatively, begin to treat their workplaces negatively because seeds of weeds were sown in their lives. It's very, very important that you watch out for weeds because weeds, they compete for the nourishment that is meant for your productivity. And some of these weeds actually choke and poison your productive life. We are saying today, take out the weeds. The scripture here says, make sure you don't lose out on God's generosity. Watch out. Keep a sharp eye out for the weeds, especially the weed of discontent, the weed of bitterness. Take it out. Don't allow it to ruin your garden. Don't allow it to ruin your life. God bless you so much. Have a blessed week. Till we meet again next week. Keep living life in abundance.